Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and I have a ton of things to show you tonight. I just kept finding things, and it was like, oh, I gotta share this one. Oh, I gotta share this one. So, whole big bunch of them. Gonna do them as fast as I can. Here we go. All the links will be down below in the description. You may have to click like a little triangle or the show more or something like that to make that pop open, but they will all be there so you can check them out yourself. The first one I wanted to start out with is the United States Government Manual. Yes, you can download a manual about the United States government. And it's updated as of the 2019 November edition. So that's fairly current. And, you can see what kinds of things it has in it: front matter, legislative branch, judicial branch, executive branch. And you can get it in these different formats. Here it is. And you can see some of the things it has. It includes the Declaration of Independence, which if you've not read that, please do. It's very short. You need to read that. The Constitution itself is not very long either, and I highly recommend reading that as well. And then I thought this was kind of cool: an organizational chart of the U.S. government and history of agency, organizational changes, boards, commissions, and it's got everything. It's 1,000 pages long. So it's not a short little thing, but there's a lot there. And if you open it up in like a regular PDF thing, then you'll be able to search it from there. But I can't on this one because I opened it up in the browser. So there you go. I just thought you might be interested in seeing that. It's kind of something to kind of play around with. Now, this is from Jack Posobiec. He posted it back on December 21st of 2019. And it's this clip here. You may have already seen this, and probably most of you have. But in case you haven't, I wanted to show you this particular clip because this is AG Barr calling out Soros. So here we go.
You talked in your piece about social justice DAs, and you put social justice in quotes. What do you mean by that? What does that mean, social justice DAs?
Well, there's been this recent development where George Soros has been coming in largely in Democratic primaries where they're not going to be much voter turnout, and putting in a lot of money to elect people who are not very supportive of law enforcement and don't view the office as bringing to trial and prosecuting criminals, but pursuing other social agendas. And they have started to win in a number of cities, and they have, in my view, not given the proper support to the police. And they're following policies that are ultimately going to lead to an increase in violent crime and more victims.
Now, I thought it was very interesting. People down here were making comments on it, and several of them mentioned that she didn't pursue that comment in the actual interview, if you saw the whole thing. So that I wanted to point that out, too, because kind of interesting that once she heard the name George Soros, she avoided it. So, yeah, it's starting to happen. There's stuff happening behind the scenes that all the players are being moved into place. I've noticed a lot of movement, new people being appointed in places, especially in the Justice Department. And I think what's happening is, the chessboard players are being moved around where they need to be in order to set up everything for what's to come. And I think that probably is what's happening here. So anyway, that was a really good one that I wanted you to see. And this is the Gateway Pundit article about it. And the reason I include this, and I'll include the link down below, is because not only do they talk about it here, but they also give, and there's the link to the tweet itself, but they also give these links to different things that these dirty attorney generals were doing. Soros-backed attorney generals, I should say. And see, Kim Foxx, the one in Chicago, the whole Jussie Smollett thing. Yeah, guess what? Soros was behind her. Soros-backed St. Louis Circuit attorney refuses to charge dealer with 1,000 opiate pills and $30,000 in cash. This stuff is going on. This is what's been happening. And we've been sitting back totally unaware of it because of course, our mainstream media isn't doing their job. They're not going out and digging on these stories and presenting them to us. And they should have been all along. I mean, obviously, these are from different sources, but why isn't somebody investigating Soros? Why don't we see articles about Soros in our newspapers and in our other media? Why are we not seeing this? I mean, this goes on and on and on, actually. Is it any wonder why Soros groups are banned from entire countries? Well, he is just messing around. Plus, remember Ukraine. He was really big in Ukraine. He was doing a lot of stuff there. So he's one of the players that's involved in this whole thing. And I don't think it's by, just by a coincidence that Barr mentioned this. I think things are getting to the point where he's going to come out and say things obviously. I missed this one. Sometimes we can't catch everything because there's just so much news coming out. And this one came out a year ago, I think. October 22nd, 2018. A little over a year ago. And George Soros and his, quote, rented evangelicals outed by Christian leaders. So this is something, as I am an evangelical Christian, this was frustrating for me to read, but not surprising. I tell you, folks, there are a lot of people who are calling themselves Christians these days, and I don't think they really match up to the biblical definition of a Christian and how you're supposed to approach the Bible. I listened to the closing summaries today. I'm recording this on Monday night. And, oh, man, the Democrats were quoting the Bible. And the Cory Booker Jr. guy, he was saying something about, I don't know, he was quoting a bunch of scripture. And I was like, what does that have to do with what's going on? So, yeah. And of course, the black lady was speaking about how whatever we do to the least of these, we've done to Jesus. Well, the thing is, you also need to talk about where it says, if you don't work, you don't eat. Jesus was not about just handing people things. He was fine with people working to have something for a living. So that's not a bad thing. Work is never a bad thing. And so if you can get people jobs and have them work for themselves, that's perfectly in line with Christianity. Socialism is not in line with Christianity. Sorry if you're listening to me and you think that's not true. Because socialism is all about taking from people and giving to other people. That's not what the Bible's about. The Bible is about you giving freely to others who are in need, not because you're being coerced to do it. You just can't do it that way. So anyway, I wanted to share that article with you. It's a good article to read. Link will be down below. And then this one, which shouldn't surprise us, the World Health Organization reveals Google is ensuring its advice comes top of searches to stop the spread of misinformation about coronavirus. Yeah, Google once again is manipulating searches. Why can't they just let searches go and be organic? Because then it wouldn't drive their narrative, which really must tell us that our narrative is stronger, because if it weren't, why would they need to manipulate it? They could just let it go and, their stuff would rise to the top, right? And same thing with YouTube. If their searches really are about giving the best stuff, why in the world would they need to fix it or rig it so it turns out their idea of what's a reliable source? Well, we know the truth, but anyway, this was very interesting that goes along with this. This came out today when I'm recording this on the 3rd. Justice Department meeting state AG offices Tuesday, which should be the day you see this, to discuss Google sources. So kind of interesting. They're going to meet with representatives of state attorneys general to discuss their investigations of search and advertising giant Google, according to sources familiar with the plans. The meeting is in the afternoon, according to one source, and will include officials from 6 or 7 states, including Texas, according to a second source familiar with the matter. nearly all state attorneys general have opened investigations into allegations that Alphabet's Google has broken antitrust laws. The probes focus on search bias, advertising, and management of Google's Android operating system. So, thought it was very interesting, and not just Google. Look, Facebook, Amazon, and Apple are all the focus. So, yeah, that could be very interesting. I don't know that there'll be anything that comes out of it that we can find out. I think we're going to have to wait for the little sources to drip it out. This is a Gateway Pundit where they have a report, $90 billion in U.S. taxpayer money donated to global slush fund to fight AIDS, but a portion of the funds made it to the Clintons, Soros, and others instead. And again, this came out on the day I'm recording this. An investigation report revealed that $90 billion in U.S. taxpayer money has been funneled to overseas organizations in the name of helping those with HIV/AIDS. In reality, the funds are distributed to organizations including the Clinton Health Access Initiative and George Soros's Open Health Institute. Yeah, that one will make your blood pressure rise when you read it, but are we surprised? No, we're not surprised, which is really sad that we're not. But we should be outraged, and we have to remember that that part of us should be allowed out because this is outrageous. And when people complain about Trump running up the national debt, I just point them to stuff like this. And I said, no, wait a minute. You don't know what he's doing when he's checking into all this kind of waste of American money. So, anyway, let me go on. The White House has been really posting several tweets about President Trump defending him. And this one, I really like this one. I mean, you've seen these before, but this did not begin with a phone call. Let me play this for you.
I want to say this for Donald Trump, who I may well be voting to impeach.
I think that Donald Trump has already done a number of things which legitimately raise the question of impeachment.
And I will fight every day until he is impeached.
I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to call for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America.
The main reason I'm interested is not so much to win the Senate, which is a byproduct, it's because I think he's committed impeachable offenses. He needs the scarlet eye on his chest.
But if we get to that point, then yes, I think that's grounds to start impeachment proceedings.
So we're calling upon the House to begin impeachment hearings immediately.
Why do you think that President Trump specifically should be impeached?
Well, there are five reasons why we think he should be impeached.
On the impeachment, Donald Trump, would you vote yes or no?
I would vote yes. I would vote to impeach.
Because we're going to go in there, we're going to impeach the mother.
I introduced articles of impeachment in July of 2017. All I did yesterday was make sure that those articles did not expire.
I'm concerned that if we don't impeach this president, he will get reelected.
It is time to bring impeachment charges against him.
My personal view is that he richly deserves impeachment.
So yeah, there they are, saying it from the start. So no, it didn't begin with a phone call, had nothing to do with Ukraine. It's just they wanted him out because they still have not figured out that they lost the election, fair and square. Oh, can you imagine what they're going to do when he, smashes it this time? Anyway, there's a lot of people down in the comments that are complaining because they're like, you're trying to use this Twitter feed to put out propaganda and see, they think he's Putin's puppet and all this stuff. So, it just, you have to read them with a grain of salt. But anyway, the White House has been doing several of them today. If you go to their feed, I mean, I think I showed you most of these before, but they posted again. This appeared 19 minutes after President Trump was sworn in. Impeachment began on day one, and the coup has started. That's what the whistleblower's lawyer had to say. And, this is really what it says. And we know President Trump is putting us first. And, if you just watch him, that's true. You've seen what he does. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting. American safety first, American families first, American workers first, American industries first, American interests first. President Trump doesn't work for the House managers or unelected bureaucrats. He works for the American people, and we know that is true, and that's why we're going to elect him again. Yep, that's it. So, lots of stuff. The State of the Union address is going to be Tuesday night, which you'll probably see this on Tuesday, so it'll be tonight, so make sure you watch it. And speaking of that, there are actually watch parties I'll tell you about in just a minute. So there it is. It's just very interesting. Keep up with the White House Twitter feed because they have been posting a lot of stuff. And then I want to show you this. Guess what? A great big public records Jeffrey Epstein dump. And I think this came out today. There are audio things, there are video things, and have fun. Look, lots and lots of them. Yep, lots of them. Oh, folks, I told you there's a huge dump here. This is a bunch of stuff to wade through. So, if Epstein is kind of your thing that you want to keep up with, this is a great thing to go through. Now, I don't know. I haven't tried all of them, obviously, but some of them are pretty interesting. So, I'll leave the link down below. You can check it out yourself. And then this one is actually, I know it's dated January 31st, but technically it happened a year ago, I believe. Bill Barr indicts 8 for illegally funneling foreign money to, guess who? Adam Schiff and multiple Dem senators. And it says Bill Barr just dropped the hammer on the hypocritical Democrats. That's not necessarily true because here's the actual indictment. And it says December 3rd. Oh, it was December 3rd, 2019. So it wasn't all that long ago. But yeah, these people, California CEO and 7 others charged in multi-million-dollar conduit campaign contribution case. Yep. And guess what? Yes, Adam Schiff's name is on the list. The guy's name was Ahmad Khawaja. And if you go through, you can see, this is the Open Secrets page again that we were looking at in the last video. There's Adam Schiff, he's one of them. And you can just go through Democratic Party of North Carolina, Democratic Executive Committee of Florida. Indiana's in here, folks. This guy gave money to Joe Donnelly. Thank goodness Joe Donnelly didn't make it. So you go through, it's like every state. This person has given money to every state, every Democratic Party. See, Indiana, there it is. And lots of individuals. If you look over here, see the green one is money to parties. But if you want to see monies to the persons, those come up in orange. But there's 245 records here, and they're all Democrats. So, yeah, isn't it nice when we have foreign funds going in to help choose our candidates? Between that and Soros, it's really frustrating. Anyway, I wanted to take you here because this is the Trump site. It's donaldjtrump.com. And I wanted to remind you that there is an event. There's a rally coming up on February 10th in New Hampshire. So if you're there, you can get your tickets here and everything. You'll probably have to be there 2 or 3 days in advance. But then here, if you have all events, then you can go down here and you can see there's watch parties. So if you want to watch the, if you want to, this one's for the Iowa caucus, if you want to watch those. And here's just conservatives and coffee, Ames, Iowa. If you're in Iowa, they've got several things. Here's a Pennsylvania, Michigan. They of couple of Michigans going on. Arizona, Georgia. I saw some in Colorado too. Lots of them in Georgia, it looks like. And if you have one that you want to add on here, I think you can add it. I'm not sure how, but you'd have to look around. Michigan, again, you've got the different Michigan, several Michigan ones. Zeeland, Michigan? I don't know where that one is. Texas. But these are just kind of meetups where you can go and talk to other MAGA people. So I thought I'd let you know that. And even more than that, some of them are so that you can get involved because, when you're on the website, here, let me go back. When you're on this, there are several different ones. This was events, and then promises kept has all these where you can go and you can see specific, promises that were kept about economy and jobs, and it just lists a whole ton of them. So that's a really good thing. If you've got people who say Trump hasn't done anything, ooh, you can really find the facts here. It's excellent. And then if you go to get involved, if you are able, now I know not everybody's able, but if you're able at all, try to get involved, because the more people we have out there working, the easier it's going to be to get this president elected. And we really need to make sure that he just blows it all away. We want it to be no doubt in anyone's mind that he is a legitimately, duly elected president. I know they'll still complain if they're not behind bars in Gitmo. But you can, just even if you get text messages or you get email, you can volunteer, you can fundraise, you can even have a career with it. There are different things that you can click on. And I think this site is very, very well done. Really, when you click on these, all it does is give you a place to enter your information so they can contact you. And so you can volunteer. I'm sure there are things that people can do. I feel like I'm doing my part when I'm doing these videos of informing people as much as I can, so you guys who may be healthier and have a little more energy than I do, you can go out and do some of the footwork that I'm unable to do. But so there you go. And of course, there is a Hispanic page, which frankly I don't think MAGA translates very well to Spanish. Juntos seguimos reconstruyendo nuestro país. We keep on reconstructing our country. It just doesn't have the same, as Make America Great Again. But anyway, if you know anybody who's Hispanic and they want to know more about Trump, this is a great place to send them. They can go there. And here's something I didn't know. Back here, if you go here and I think it's about, if you click the about, down at the bottom, it gives you, well, of course it gives you a bio of Trump, but we all pretty much know who he is, right? And then it has Pence. But down at the bottom, there's just not much about him. Oh, where is it? Okay. Well, on one of these pages, it has... maybe it's the get involved. Probably. Let me go back here. I'm sorry. Follow us. Yeah, this page, this right here. So if you want to follow President Trump, here are the places he's on. Now, I knew he was on Instagram, even though I have an Instagram account, but I'm not really there. I don't really do anything with it. I just kind of did it so I would have the name saved. Truthification Chronicles. But he's on YouTube. Did you know that? I didn't know he was on YouTube. I saw somebody with that, people had like the little picture and the name, and I thought, oh, surely, that's not him. That's just somebody taking it. No. Here is Donald J. Trump's actual YouTube channel. And again, I will put the link down below. Yeah, there it is. Obviously, it's not, he's not putting up videos, but this is all his stuff. They're doing a really good job with social media. They're hitting it hard, and that's a good thing. That's what they need to do. So this really is President Trump's, because it's back here on this page right here. When you click on this, it takes you right there. And so here are, for the vice president and then Team Trump too. So I thought I would share those with you. And that's what I've got for you on this one. I know there were several different things and I kind of went through them fast, but I gave you the overview. If you want to dig into any particular ones that I gave you, remember the links are down below and you can just click on them and go there and see what you can dig up. And I really want to remind you that if you really want to get some interesting stuff each day, you can come to the We Are the News website and you can find all of these headlines, which is where I get some of these things too, where I got this one and some of the others. But there's lots of stuff you can go in here and look at, and it's just a nice way to find out some information. Last night, after the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl, President Trump tweeted out and he put in that it was Kansas City, Kansas, instead of Missouri, and people were making fun of him. But in the past, when President Trump has made such, I'm going to put air quotes around it, mistakes, they usually turn out to be telling us something. And I haven't had a chance to look into it, but there is evidently a Pompeo video that I want to watch. And you can actually watch them here if you want to. And I figured there was something going on because when he pointed out Kansas is the name for Secretary Pompeo. And this is what the researchers use for Twitter. So ignore that. But anyway, I think there's always some reason why he makes mistakes like that. They're obvious. And that was a pretty obvious one. Of course, they're making fun of him, saying he didn't know where it was. But I'm sure he did. And anyway, so I just wanted to point this out to you. And this whole page, when you go through, it'll change. It'll always be different, but you can go through and you can see what they're digging on. It takes a little while for it to get from there to here, but it's a really good source, and you can check things really quickly, and it just is a very good way of doing it without having to actually go to the research boards. So anyway, that's what I've got for you on this one. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.